Мен Minirmut. Welcome to Khalmg Tuuls podcast. My name is Baina and I'm a Kalmyk. I'm a teacher and a mother to a girl named Diana. Today we will listen to a story about Tsetsen and his wise daughter-in-law. But first, I want to tell you that sometimes Kalmyk tales might seem harsh. This is because they show real life, which can be tough and challenging. For example, a long time ago, Tsetsen would hit his son for making mistakes. He found him a smart wife who scolded her husband and called him silly. But today we know that this is not right. Everyone has their strengths and weaknesses. Today we don't hit or scold people, we help and support them. So some things in old tales are not always right by today's rules. Sonia Nieto, a very smart scientist, says that culture always changes, and we need to be accustomed to this change, and it helps our culture to be preserved. What was normal before might be wrong now. When listening to an old tales, we should not blindly follow everything we hear, but think and understand what is good and what is bad. Before the story, I will explain a few words. The first is Han. Han is a person and he is like a king. Yurt. Yurt is a Kalmyk house that can be easily assembled and disassembled because Kalmyks used to move around a lot. Haton. Haton is a place where people lived in yurts, like a country. Kizyak. Dried cow dung, which Kalmyks collected to keep the fire going in their yurts. Kumus. Fermented milk. So, let's start it. Kizena Beji. A long time ago, there was a Han named Tsetsen who had a silly son. The Han was looking for a smart wife for him. The Han traveled all over the country checking every yurt, but he couldn't find the one girl. One evening, as he neared a large haton, the sky darkened with storm clouds and it began to rain heavily with hail. Not far from the haton, Han Tsetsen saw girls who had been collecting kizyak and were caught in the rain. They had thrown down their kizyak and covered their heads with empty leather bags, running home. One girl stayed behind. She took off her coat, covered her leather bag filled with kizyak, and led a calf behind her. Han Tsetsen rode up to her and asked, "What are you doing alone in the rain?" The girl replied, "We were 20 friends collecting kizyak. When the sun was about to set, our cows met their calves here. I caught the calf and am leading it home so it won't drink all the cow's milk." "But the other girls ran home. Why you are alone in the rain?" Han Tsetsen asked again, pointing to the girls running to the haton. The girl answered, "Those girls ran home and lost their kizyak. They emptied their bags to cover their heads, losing all the kizyak they collected all day. Their calves drank all the cow's milk and they soaked their clothes in the rain. They have 3 problems, but I only have one. My clothes are wet, but they will dry in the sun. I saved the kizyak and the milk." Han Tsetsen was pleased with her answer and asked, "Where do you live? Where is your yurt?" "Over there, the black one with the 60 windows," the girl replied. Han Tsetsen rode to the old, poor yurt with 60 holes and shouted, "Who is in the yurt?" An old man came out and bowed deeply, recognizing the Han. "Old man, I'm in a hurry, but on my way back I will visit you. Prepare some good kumus from bull's milk for me," said the Khan, riding away. The old man was confused and worried, but his daughter comforted him, saying, "Don't worry, father, we will manage. Just do as I say." The next day, Han Tsetsen returned and called out from his horse, "Did you prepare the kumus I asked for?" The girl came out, and her father's groans could be heard from inside. She said calmly, "Your Highness, my father couldn't fulfill your order. Since you left, he has been suffering from labor pains and can't get out of bed. He might give birth to a baby by evening, and then your order will be fulfilled." Han exclaimed, "Men don't give birth, and bulls don't give milk," the girl replied quickly. Realizing her cleverness, Han Tsetsen knew she was the right wife for her son. She married the Han's son. After the wedding, the Han took his son hunting. They saw a deer, and the Han ordered his son to catch it by the horns. The son ran clumsily toward the deer, which got scared and ran, and the Han shot the deer and it fell. Angrily, he slapped his son. At home, the son told his wife that what happened. She scolded him, saying, "Couldn't you understand that catch the deer by the horns mean shoot it quickly? You can't drag a dead deer by their horns or their legs. Be thankful the Han even takes you hunting." The next day, the Han took his son hunting again and told him to cook meat in a wooden pot. The son made a wooden pot, filled it with water and meat, and set a fire. The pot burned, and the meat fell into the ashes. The Han whipped his son and rode home angrily. The son told his wife everything. She said, "Couldn't you understand that cooking meat in a wooden pot mean lighting the Han's pipe and offering it to him? He would have realized you can't cook in wood and smoked instead." The next day, the Han ordered his son to find a horse with two heads, one looking north and one south. The son caught two horses, tied their tails, and brought them to the Han. The Han whipped him again. The wife explained, "A horse with two heads means a pregnant mare. Its head and the foal's head point in opposite directions. Pregnant mares walk gently." Hearing this, the Han was happy with his wise daughter-in-law. Later, a neighboring Han, knowing for his wisdom, sent a riddle. A handle made of red wood with equal ends, asking which end was the root. Han Tsetsen couldn't solve it and asked his daughter-in-law. She said, "Put it in a water. The denser root end will sing more." They did, and the deeper end was the root. The neighbor sent another riddle, a mare and a foal that looked identical. They were to determine which was the mother. The daughters-in-law suggested starving them for 3 days, then giving them less food than needed. The mother would push the food to the foal. They did this and identified the mother correctly. The neighbor sent a final riddle. 2 identical snakes, one male and one female. The daughters-in-law said to keep them in the darkness and then place them on soft fabric. The male would crawl around the female, protecting her. They did this and identified the snakes correctly. The neighboring Han, furious, invited Han Tsetsen to visit. Seeing Han Tsetsen was not wise himself, he captured him, demanding to meet the real wise person. Under threat, Han Tsetsen wrote a letter to his wife. "The kingdom of our neighboring Han is true paradise. There are no suffering, no death, no illness. There is no winter and everything smells like spring. There is no summer, but there is a coolness of autumn. The people here live happily all year around and don't know what work is. I sleep on soft feather bed. I eat lamb and drink strong aromatic tea. I wear blue velvet. My pleasures, entertainments, and joys are endless. This goes on all day and night. There is no way to leave this country even for a minute. When you get this letter, everyone must come here. Remember, you, my old woman, are trusting. In my heart there is an unfortunate foal, but what's joyful is that in my chest there is a piece of butter. Come, all of you, I miss you very much." The neighboring Han, suspecting nothing, sent the letter with a person to Tsetsen's kingdom. The Han's wife, believing this letter, happily started to gather everyone to move the neighboring Han kingdom. Hearing this, the Han's daughter-in-law ran to the Han's wife and learned that it was all Tsetsen's orders. She adopted everything and demanded confirmation. They showed her Tsetsen's letter. After reading the letter, she tightened her lips and whispered to the Han's wife, "Mother, order this person from the neighboring kingdom to be captured, and then I will explain everything." The old woman listened to her wise daughter-in-law, and after that the Khan's daughter-in-law started to explain every line on Tsetsen's letter. "Mother," said the Khan daughter-in-law, "our father has been captured and is in danger. Everything he writes must be understood in the opposite way. Tea and lamb are water and dry bread. The feather bed is ground. The blue velvet is the sky. Pleasure all day and night means suffering all day and night. And the fact that there is no way to live, even for a minute, means he is in chains. You, my old woman, are trusting as a warning not to believe the letter. The unfortunate fall in the herd means the Han is talking about the son who won't understand anything. The piece of butter in the chest, it's me. He's hoping only for me. The call, 'Everyone come here,' means go to war against the neighboring Han and free me. So we must go there not as peaceful nomads, but the fierce warriors, armed from head to toe." They did as the Han's daughter-in-law suggested and moved everyone to the neighboring kingdom. Stopping near the neighboring Han's palace, the Han's daughter-in-law sent ahead her husband and her mother-in-law to tell the neighboring Han, "We are happily come to your kingdom. We are all energetic and not tired. Not a single animal has died. We will be there early tomorrow morning." The neighboring Han, believing this, immediately ordered Tsetsen to be freed and prepared a party. They feasted all night, so early in the morning the neighboring Han and his army were completely drunk and lay down to sleep. Meanwhile, Tsetsen's daughter-in-law herself led her army to the neighboring Han's palace and found everyone sleeping. Taking advantage of this, without losing a single soldier, Tsetsen's daughter-in-law captured the entire army of the neighboring Han and put the Han himself in chains. After defeating the entire army, she announced to all the kingdom that they now belonged to Han Tsetsen. Thus, the wise Han daughters-in-law conquered the neighboring kingdom.